Yes, so I decided to take a trip down to South Carolina, North Carolina to get some few things done on a Tuesday morning. Yep, and it was a very lonely stretch. I was on this road alone for a long time. I was doing 70 miles per hour. That was the required speed by law on that road. And it was fun. But as they always said, life is an individual journey. So I decided to just vibe with my songs, chill. Yeah, it was a fun. It was fun. It was fun. It was good driving with the greens coming up again. And at a point, I just decided that, look, let me share some few things, some few thoughts on my mind with you guys. So let's get into it and have a bite. All right? See you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this quick conversation with yours truly, Mr. O. I'm still on the road, as you can see. I have about 3 hours to go. I think I'm going to make a stop at the rest area. Okay. There is a rest area here, so let me make a quick stop so that I can stretch my legs a little bit and we will get back on the road. Okay? Great. Okay, let me see. Some refreshments. So this is the rest stop. I'm just resting my legs a little bit. Very green, very serene, very simple. Okay. And a lot of people stop. Drivers that you've driven a long distance, you can rest. Very neat, well kept. All right, people, we are back on the road. So as I was saying, I made this post about the over prioritization of standardized testing and the effect it has on your teaching as a teacher. Again, as I said, I will do a comparison between the time I was in Ghana and the time I came to the US. Somebody will ask, what is a standardized test? A standardized test is any test that is given to all students or all test takers, and they are required to produce or to provide the same answer. All right? And they use it in so many areas of our life. A lot of the security guys take standardized tests before they are recruited in the security forces. What we normally call the aptitude test, right? And there is GRE, there is ACT, there is SAT, SAT, right? There is TOEFL, and even there is WAEC, West African Examination Council exam for senior high students. That is considered a standardized test because all students across the West African region are required to provide the same answers. They are required to take the same test, right? I guess now every country is kind of taking control over their own tests based on how their curriculum is structured and how teachers are required to teach. Okay? But in every interaction as a teacher, you may have come across standardized testing before. And when I was in Ghana, we were having all these things. Now, what was the effect on my teaching? First of all, I want to say that there has been emphasis on these kind of tests since time immemorial, right? Since. Even in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s, they put priority on standardized tests. for its many educational reasons. All right, for its many educational reasons. And again, let me reiterate this point. I've always made it that no test, no exam can test every faculty of the test taker. Remember that. No exam, either teacher made or standardized test, can never test every ability, every cognitive ability of the test taker. Every exam, be it standardized or non-standardized, is testing a part of your cognitive ability. Do you understand? Good. So, teachers, let us remember that, so that we don't overemphasize it. Now, growing up, we all saw these WAEC exam and everything as a big deal. And if you fail it, you are considered, directly or indirectly a failure, because you cannot progress to the next stage of your education. And there are two stages, right? The junior level and the senior level. So some of our colleagues who could not pass the junior high school level exam well could not go to the senior high school. All right? Even though that does not define them, that does not make them a failure, they could not continue. Some too will have to take it again. And even in the senior high school level, most of our colleagues or our peers could not progress to the university level. In fact, most of the time, that is the point their life or their former educational life truncates. And indirectly, it translates into the other sector. It's only few people who are able to rise above those, stoppages or blockades to be able to advance and make something good out of themselves. In most of the instances, as soon as the system declares you have failed your SSS, the certificate exam, so you are good for nothing, then, why? Because there has been so much emphasis on it. There will be so much emphasis. And you see, because it's been overemphasized and talked about and prioritized, we teachers, in a way, okay, unless you are not conscious of it, in a way, it has affected the way we deliver our lessons. Let's be truthful to ourselves. It affected me, because I believe in total education. I am one teacher that I believe, listen, I don't come to your class and just come and teach you about simultaneous equation or statistics and say, probability of this and this is that. No. I believe by the time you leave my class, you should have picked lessons in life about hygiene, about self-care, about life in general, about some business, about how you should think about investment. I make sure you leave that class having every bit of it. Okay? Based on the conversations I have with you, the examples I use in my lessons and all that. And doing that, I realized that what am I missing? Because everybody in that school was holding a past question of the West African Examination Council. And there were all sort of books that were compiled, solved, that the students had with them. But the teacher who trained me in Kofodia Tech, in fact, who taught me, Mr. Asman, is one teacher who said, look, I don't believe in solved past questions as a booklet, as a student guide. No. Give me the raw questions and let me do what? And let me solve them. Because mathematics is meant to be solved. All right? Mathematics is meant to be solved. So my teacher never believed in reading mathematics solutions, because it is very easy for every student to just lie in their bed. And be reading the question and be reading the solutions. Oh yeah, we've all done it before, because The solution is right there. So you put one hand at where the solution is there. You are reading the question. Oh, okay. The y dx is 54. Okay. So then you go and peep the answers. He believed that you sit down and you solve it until you. I mean, that is the practice that will make you perfect. So I took that to my teaching practice. When I started teaching, I was encouraging my students to buy past question booklets that had no solutions. They should buy the raw ones. Then we all come, then we solve it ourselves. Because sometimes even the solutions, there are mistakes in it. So you may be referring to that solution and you may be referring to mistake. Yeah. So many times that you look at a solution and it wasn't well solved. There was a typo, there was a mistake. So it's better you try it yourself, and that builds you as a learner. It's a learning process. But you may have other teachers who are teaching to the exam. When I say teaching to the exam, they go with the past question, they teach whatever is there. So you are, yes, because the focus has been on passing the high school end of year exam or end of school exam. The focus has been passing the junior high school exam. So everyone wants to make sure that they pass, in quotes, they pass and pass well so that their future will look brighter a little bit. Even though there is no direct correlation between passing that EOC and success in life. All right, they've used standardized exams to create these correlations to measure the success of a candidate based on their scores and other things. But seriously, it is not a measure. It is not, because as I said, no exam can measure every cognitive ability of a test taker. Okay. Fast forward, I also started teaching to the exam. At least the second semester of the final year that I was in Ghana, I was handling final year students who were going to write the end of school exam for the senior high school students. That is a WAEC. And I had to teach to the exam. So I said, okay, now we've done all the learning. This second semester, which is the final semester from February all the way to July, it is all about solving past questions, writing tests, solving past questions, writing tests. I wasn't doing any serious teaching. If there is a misconception, I will teach it, but I wasn't doing like a full teaching. Okay? And I also observed other teachers doing basically nothing, but they were just teaching for them to pass. So pass, that is why we always have this cliche or whatever statement that we make that true, poor, and forget. It was basically true and poor. Yeah, there was no learning taking place. Fast forward, when I came to the US again, I realized that as for this place, there is so much emphasis on standardized testing than any other place. Yeah, it is big. It is big. Algebra 1, Algebra 3, there's so much test and you are supposed to finish taking the SAT test before you complete high school. It is part of it. They have the ACT test that is also written every now and then. So all the time the kids are just, because when you are teaching, they will ask you, Mr. O, are we going to write exam on this one? Are you going to test us on this one? If you're not going to test them, Yamutu, they will not learn it. Okay, even whilst I'm teaching in class, I believe I am giving you a tool that when you go to higher institutions or you want to make use of it, you have the understanding. No, they were not looking for understanding. They were looking for the fact that, hey, are we going to be tested on this? Is it going to come on the EOC? Is it going to come on the ACT? If it is not, forget. If it's not, forget. Very unfortunate, but it is something that I came to meet, and I can do little about it. So what do I do? What did I do? I gradually got into that mood where I teach, I deliver my lessons, but I am conscious of the fact that it is tailored to their exams. In fact, it changed the way I teach. It changed the way I deliver my lessons. Yeah. Unless you are giving a class where they are not going to take the standardized test. Remember, in the US, most of the classes that the students take, or the courses the students take, are semester based. Okay, for instance, it's just like the university system. A student may be doing Algebra 1 and also doing calculus. He or she may have done geometry already from a different course. You see, so they've segmented it. So, and there are some courses that they are required to take the standardized test. Not all of them. Not all of them. So the ones that they are required to take it, they are very conscious of it. But the ones that they are not, they don't really care. Okay, that is why I was asking that question, that do you also see it affecting your way of teaching as a teacher? For me, the prioritization has actually affected the way I deliver my lessons. Yeah. It is unconscious. Sometimes it's very conscious, sometimes it's not conscious, but you see yourself doing the very things by all educational standards you're not supposed to be doing. Unless you have a higher level class. If I mean a higher level class, let's say AP classes, okay, advanced placement classes where these students are going to college, they are going to higher levels of learning and all that. Then you place so much premium on it, then you take your time, you deliver them. Even that, you are so conscious of the fact that they will be taking some exams that will allow them to go to college. Okay, so in short, that is my take, and that is what I noticed. I don't know about you, and I will encourage us as teachers. I know we want our students to pass, we want our students to get all the grade A, the grade whatever, but as much as you can, if you have the opportunity, teach them lessons for life, not necessarily to pass an exam. Because I am back to that level where the courses I'm teaching now, they don't have to take any standardized exam at the end, so I am taking my time to deliver. Yes, what I'm teaching this semester, from last semester to this semester, it's been like these students that I have are not required to take any standardized exam before they graduate from my course. Okay, whatever I give them, and of course exam is what they will do. So I'm the one who is controlling what they are going to take and how I'm going to grade them. In fact, it is an awarding institution. Yeah, I can reduce your workload. I can also leave you to do it. If you are a student that is very good and you want more, I can give you more. If you are not, you don't have the capacity, I can reduce the number of tests and the number of quizzes that I give you. Okay, so it is very subjective in that sense. So I am back to that normal level where I deliver and I believe I am impacting lives, and I've seen the results. The feedbacks I get from my students tell me that there is something positive going on, and I love it. And that is a sweet spot that I always love to be in. Yeah, I know it is not always the same for everybody, but hey, that is my experience. So let me hear your comments. Let me see whatever you also have, whatever experience you also have, and let's share, let's interact, and let's learn together. All right, thank you so much.